You still need wastewater systems, and you cannot just live in a tent on a lot.
I was upset to find out
It's
you
not
can't
legal.
even have a tiny home as a primary on a lot.
That's correct.
Really?
Yes.
That was my dream. I wanted to just go buy one of these beautiful places, a couple who live in a little tiny home. No can.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, were you in a subdivision? Was it the CCNRs that prevented you, or the county code?
I think it was a county code that said there has to be a primary dwelling that is over X amount of square footage, and then you can have that as a secondary. But
Right.
you can't have that as a primary.
Well, why wouldn't you just, of course, but why would you want to call it your primary when for
Because if
county?
I've only got $1 million for the land, I don't have the $2 million to build a house on said land.
Right, but
Yeah.
nothing prevents you from putting the 500 square foot cottage,
Oh, okay,
building the
fair.
cottage on the land. Nothing stops you from doing that.
I dream of couple Marion. My money stops me.
Oh, I just want to make sure you understand
I
it's
appreciate
not
that.
the county
Yes,
code, and
yes.
it's
Do
not.
that with the intent to build later on?
Yes,
Yeah.
people do it all the time. They
Yeah.
build the cottage first,
And
and then they
the
build,
Right.
or they condominiumize, keep themselves in the cottage, and they sell the land that is available for the main house. That's Lonnie Opoko's.
Do we teach a course on CPRs, pros and cons of that? Because I have never understood that, and to me it just seems like a really bad thing. But then some people say it's great.
No, it's great. Why would it be bad?
That's what I'm saying. Like I have a really skewed. Do we have any courses on that?
No, there is no class on that. However, this buyer's disclosure in the intranet, I wrote it up to provide some disclosure about what a CPR means. And just stay with me for 10 minutes afterwards. I'd be happy to answer the questions about CPR for you and help you understand how it works.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Where are we? Here's the thing. Reaching a decision, right? So now you've explained the offer, you've gone over the offer, everything's great, and now here is a great, really, introduction to a script. We're gonna do some scripts after this. The seller has 3 options. We went over that before, right? And I never do this, do I? I'm probably totally in the wrong place. Not quite yet, okay. You can accept the offer. If the offer is reasonable, they may accept the offer on the spot. Remind the seller that if they accept the offer, the property is sold at that point. They cannot get out of this. Okay? Seller cannot, well, they can, but not without consequence. They can counter the offer, consult with your client to determine a reasonable counteroffer amount or terms, write the counteroffer amount on the contract, and prepare a counteroffer form and have the seller initial it and sign it. Reject the offer. If the offer is unreasonable, the seller may reject it. The seller may or may not decide to invite the buyer to submit a new offer. I don't know why they'd not invite them to submit a new offer, but okay. This is, yeah, okay.
Because they've been insulted.
There you go. I don't even want to deal with these people.
Right.
There you go.
It's very emotional.
Awesome. So here we are with some scripts. So why don't we pair up again? You want to change pair ups or stick with your team here and practice these scripts.
Sure.
Right. So presenting the initial
I'll go first.
offer.
Okay.
For seller.
Good morning, it's Corey with Keller Williams Realty. We
morning.
have an offer for your review.
Oh, I'm so excited. Tell me.
I'm going through the offer with you.
Gonna go through the
Morning.
office.
Is this a good time?
Yeah.
I'm going to go through the offer with you. Is this a good
We have
time?
an offer
Absolutely.
for your
Turn off the
review.
TV.
I'm
Hey, he's
going
got
to
an
go
offer.
through the
Get on the
offer.
phone.
$600,000.
Now the offer came in with
$60,000 there.
$600,000.
Sorry.
We're putting
With is
$60,000 as earnest money and
is
10% down
total
of
down
the
payment.
payment.
Yeah.
They want to
They want
close
to
on
pay $2 million in
December
earnest
25th,
and
and they're asking, asking for 1% repair.
So
The whole point is to get
give me
married.
$2 million in earnest. We're good.
So all I say
It's
is,
listed for $650.
My account number is.
That's not even close.
oh, this is presenting it.
10%
Okay, so
under.
now you are
Oh
there.
my God.
Presenting the offer.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
the offer. What do
They
you
wanna
think?
close, in
I
14
think we should
days,
take it.
and they're asking
Never
for
criticize or
Why?
shoot.
2% in repair limit.
So
there's-
that's lower than your asking price, but it's
Thank
an
We haven't had
offer,
any
so
other
we need to
offers.
decide
We
what
brought
we'd
by the
like
house.
to
It's
do.
been on the market 180
I will
days.
urge you to consider this offer very
Okay, now
carefully
let's
and
see.
consider the value.
Okay, well, let's
Okay.
tweak it
Um,
then, cause I'm not closing it, I'm supposed to
Uh,
stay.
okay, this is-
Alright, we can push it to the day after Christmas.
Comprehensive agreement for
Your property's on the market now for 35.
Right up
Okay,
an
your
offer,
turn.
counter offer.
That's where we at
That's
is.
lower than our asking
25.
price, but it is an offer, so we
Buyers
need
are
to
going
decide
look
what
at
you'd
the
like to
data.
do.
Yeah.
They're going to see
Alright.
their neighbors.
I will urge you to
Uh,
consider this offer very
never
carefully and consider the value of giving you new goals in the long run.
Points of agreement.
And consider the value of being
Four,
here
I've got
moving
right here.
goals.
They're gonna want
In
to
the long
see fair
run,
market
meeting your
value.
overall
So,
goal,
now that's
of selling your
lower
home.
than
You
our
accept this offer.
asking price, but it
Meeting
is an
your
offer,
overall
so
goal
we
of selling your
decide
home
what
is the
you
more
would like to
critical
do.
need.
You want to hit your goal price.
Your property has been on the market now for
I
180
urge
days, and the average
to
time to
consider
market
this
this
offer
area
very
is
carefully,
45 days.
consider the value
Buyers are
of
going to
these
look at the
moving
same
goals
data, they're going to
in the
see
long
that
run, meeting
your
the
neighbor's house
overall
sold
goal
for
of selling
only
your home.
$500,000,
The more
and the house
critical
around the
need,
corner sold
correct?
for $475,000.
Okay,
They're going
and
to
your
want to
property
pay
has
fair
been on
market value
market
compared
now
to these other
for
sellers. If
300
you accept this
days.
offer, the probability of
And
closing
the
in your
average
goal is
time on the market
100%.
for this
You want to
area
meet your
is-
So
goal.
I'm gonna interrupt you
Yes.
for a second, so Nicole can ask you all a question. Teresa, could you just give us your
24.
attention for a second?
So, we all want you to attend Danny Harrow's thing on Friday, which is over in Kahului, because that's the beginning of our mastermind, it's 9 to 12, so we don't want you to miss that for Ignite, because we can always move Ignite, but Dan only comes to the island once in a while, because he's from Honolulu. So that you can attend that, what we'd like to propose is that you, I still want you to finish up on the 18th, because I feel like you guys have shown up doing anything, and I'm like, so would you be okay with us doing 9, 10, 11, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah, what's your thoughts?
I would.
Ignite,
Ignite
9,
10,
Ignite
actually
10,
it says
Ignite-
10, 11,
oh,
and
sorry,
12.
10, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12. So you'd still be done by Wednesday, because I know.
So we're adding a class next week,
Yeah,
we're
so
moving
you-
Fridays into next week, so you're gonna have it 3 days in a row, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
As opposed to just Monday, Wednesday. So we're adding Tuesday. Would that be okay?
Are you guys
with
okay with that?
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday instead of Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
No,
There is
just-
no Friday,
there's
you're
no-
graduating on
Oh.
Wednesday.
You're saying
So what we're basically adding is Tuesday, just, you guys.
We're moving
can do it on
Friday.
You're opening
Tuesday,
up,
Tuesday.
opening up Friday for the special speaker.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
exactly, because we think you guys could benefit.
if you don't mind rescheduling the coaching, we can just do that.
Oh, yes, exactly, we've got that, yep, that's not a problem, we can absolutely schedule that. You okay with
The
that?
only thing that was going on was caravan, so.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that, yeah.
So then this Friday, you're saying we go to
Kahului.
Go to Kahului.
And it's from
at
9 to 12, not 9:30, just keep that in mind, so it's a timing change from your Ignite, because normally you're here from 9:30 to 12:30, so it's 9 to 12.
So-
Yeah.
So
Do we bring
why are-
computers for that?
Hmm?
Bring computers for that?
Dan's probably not gonna need a computer, no, it's more of a taking notes. Yeah, you wanna talk about,
I was just gonna say, why are we doing this? Danny Hara is our top agent in Keller Williams, Hawaii. He is also one of the top agents in Keller Williams for the region. He is also such a top agent that he is coached by Gary Keller. So he's in the top 100 in the company-wide. He runs a team, along with his wife. He's gonna probably talk to you about how I don't know, do you know what the topic is?
I don't know, but when they put his name on there,
Right,
I just show up,
exactly.
like, I
No,
figure I'm
it's-
taking
it's like
something.
when you've got an opportunity to hear somebody like that, you go, right?
Yeah.
Dan Ihara,
Dan Ihara.
Yeah.
Like you can go, oh, but he's so way beyond me. Yeah, it's true, but he's gonna be able to tell you what works,
Yeah.
right? And so it's just like nuggets, just nuggets.
You'll get
So
something from it.
we encourage you to take advantage of the masterminds. It's awesome that he's.
Yeah, and he's the only one that's doing a mastermind in the morning, so that's why we were like, we really wanna make it so you guys.
And that's from 9 to.
9 to 12 in Kahului, yeah.
And will it fill up fast, you know?
Well, if you would go and reserve, that would be great.
Yeah,
Go onto
so-
the calendar and click on it,
I
that
think
would
we
be
got
awesome.
an email about it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely got
Mhm.
emails on it, so, yeah. We just felt like that was really beneficial for you guys, and so the leadership team all talked about it and said, we should really get the Ignite students there as well, so let's shift it. But then I also wanna talk with you guys, cause you're kind of the core that's showing up regularly, and I wanna make sure you're good with that, longer
Cool.
period of time.
I'll
And I
make-
still wanted you to graduate by the 18th, so, we're good with that?
Yeah.
We're really good with that.
Awesome! So you guys all.
Thank you, Nicole. Very cool. Okay, we got that done. So how do we do on these scripts? You were in the middle, I know, but we need to move on because I really want to get to you taking a look at our actual offer.
Great, we had a great offer come through on ours.
Did?
Yeah, fabulous.
Awesome,
Yeah.
okay.
I got 2 million in earnest money.
On a $40 million property, wow, great. Okay, so, I would say that the difficulty is not so much in deciding how to respond or how to counter. You will find yourself, that it's just this, it just kind of works naturally, right? Because your clients are gonna respond and you're gonna get from their response. And they say, would you like to counter? We could counter with those things and see if they meet your criteria. Why don't we do that? You know, we've got an offer, let's work it, as opposed to just giving up. This is also something you could build into your buyer's packet that talks about, at the point of negotiation, I encourage you to counter, not just reject an offer. Why is that? Because you never know, this is what real estate has taught me, you never know until you ask. And just because this person gave you a lowball offer, doesn't mean they're not willing to come up. So if you don't ask with a counteroffer, you don't know what you could get. So again, if you've pricked people about that, they're more likely, when it comes time to get the counteroffer, you say, remember what I told you, right? Let's think about a counteroffer. Make sense? Okay, so I gave you guys all a contract here because the last section of what we're doing here is work the offer, right? Oh yes, please, I'm sorry. Did you get one, Riley? Grab one for
Yeah.
Riley too. She didn't get one, I don't think.
Oh, I got one from yesterday, but that's okay.
Oh, you've got multiple offers. There you
Now I
go.
do.
Okay.
Never leave home without one.
So here's the tough part. It is presenting an offer to a client, right? So because we don't have this filled in with numbers and you haven't filled it in and whatnot, it's really about presenting an offer, period. And how do you do that? So we're gonna practice a little bit, but I'm gonna show you how I would do this to a seller, because that's what we're practicing here, right? If we get an offer from a buyer, how do we present it to the seller? You go, okay, so this is from Betty Buyer, and she is represented by Coldwell Banker, we can see right here. And so the first page is about agency, and you're represented by me, by Keller Williams, so we know that. All right, the second page is the offer. So what they're saying is they are offering a $10,000 earnest money deposit and another $10,000 earnest money deposit at the end of their inspection period, which is probably gonna be, I think it's, I looked already, it's 14 days. So when they inspect the property and they like everything, they're gonna make their second deposit. Their total down payment, they're gonna bring in another $40,000, and that brings the total down payment to 15%. So they're not quite putting 20% down, but that's okay. Lots of loans don't have 20% anymore. And then they're getting regular financing, and they're offering $20,000 below your asking price. See that? Yeah. What do you think about that? I'm gonna stop right here because I don't need to just present the whole offer. They wanna react. They wanna talk about this now, right? So I'm gonna say right there, what do you think about that? But you see, as opposed to just telling them, oh, they're offering $640,000, I can now say, yeah, but they're actually putting $20,000, you see, it makes a difference, doesn't it? How much earnest money deposit are they putting down, right? All these things have an impact. So you say, this is a nice $10,000 earnest money deposit and another $10,000. You're gonna have $20,000 in escrow to feel confident that these people are serious about buying. Do I get to keep that money? Only if they try to cancel when they have no right to cancel. And even then, let's not even think about keeping the money. Keeping the money isn't so easy. That is ultimately a possibility and a penalty, but really it's about their intention that we're talking about here. Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, great. So, the next thing is here they describe the property and everything's good about that. Here's their inclusions. I did look at this and I noticed they forgot to check the washer dryer. So we're gonna have to just clarify that the washer and dryer are included. But go through this, and are you in agreement with all the things they checked here? Cool, great, okay. The next portion of this talks about, we don't have a solar system, so that's not checked. But they are asking for a couple of furniture items. They like your furniture, even though it wasn't included. They're asking, would you consider including these? So you can give that some thought.
And what if it's staged furniture and it belongs to the stager?
What would the answer then be?
Talk to the stager.
That's correct.
Duh.
So the answer would be no, no inclusions, right? We would have to counter,
Right,
because it's in here, that the sofa is included,
right.
and we would have to now counter and say, delete sofa.
Okay.
That's all the counter's gonna say. We accept your price, we accept your term, delete sofa.
And then you just prepare a bill of sale then in negotiation with the
No.
stager or?
No, this is between the stager
That's
and the
not
buyer, it has
included.
nothing to do with me.
Oh, so you would then just
Yes.
tell
Go
the
over
buyer.
there, buy the sofa
buyer
from the
takes
stager, it has
okay.
nothing to do with me.
Okay.
Okay, exclusions, what do you mean the bird bath isn't included? I love that bird bath. Yeah, well, they love it too, and it turns out it's an old family thing, and they're gonna take the bird bath. But you know what, I'm gonna research some bird baths for you, and I'm gonna see if I can find you this same kind of bird bath. I had this happen with a statue once.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Closing date, they're looking to close in 45 days, and they're asking for a 10-day possible extension. In other words, either party can look to extend this contract if there's an issue, but they're looking for a 45-day close. Does that work for you? Okay, great, fine. The escrow company they're recommending is blah, 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 and do you have any concern about using that escrow company? No, I wouldn't know. What about you? No, I'm fine with this escrow company. Well, shouldn't we just choose our own? Because isn't this couldn't they favor the seller? I go, let me explain escrow to you, because they're not gonna do that. I've been in business a long time and they don't do that. Some people do have relationships with escrow officers, and those escrow officers know how to work with you, and they know you want this and you want it this way and that way. But they are not going to favor the one client over the other client. Their job is to be impartial, an impartial third party that holds the money and doesn't let the money go until both parties agree to let the money go.
So how do we as agents determine what makes a better escrow company over another?
I just explained that. I just said there isn't. They're all the same.
They're all the same.
So you're gonna have to build relationships with escrow officers, and you're gonna find escrow officers are different in how responsive they are, how they do things, and you're gonna have to find that out. You can get recommendations from other agents or your broker, but ultimately, you're gonna build relationships with escrow officers.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so next, what have we got? Just to remind you, there's closing costs, right? You are gonna have some closing costs. So you're gonna share the title insurance with you're gonna pay 60% of the title insurance, the buyer's paying 40%. You're gonna pay half of the escrow fee, right? You're gonna split it evenly with the buyer, the cost of the escrow company. And then you've got, closing recording fees and deed fees and conveyance tax and various and sundry other things,
And
but
this-
nothing major.
This is what you talked about yesterday where at the strategies of finance class, where if you have a cash-strapped seller or buyer, then you just negotiate that into the deal and then
So which one? Cash-strapped
seller.
No,
Or
who's
cash
making
out.
the offer?
The offer is made by the buyer.
Right, so if there's something built into the offer that says, you will credit for closing costs, what do you
Right.
think the buyer would include? For them to be credited, right? The buyer
Right.
knows that they're strapped for cash. The
Right,
seller isn't gonna be strapped for cash because I was making a lot of
Right.
money on the sale of the house, right?
right.
Okay, and we're representing the seller right now. Notice of conveyance tax, so they are taking possession not as owner occupant, so your conveyance tax is gonna be a little higher, but this is not huge. And I can't tell you exactly what it is, cause it's calculated geometrically, it doesn't go straight, so it's a little confusing. In any case, assessments, they filled it out that, and we don't have any assessments, so we don't need to worry about those.
What page are you on?
4. 4. We don't have any assessments, or we are a condo and, we may have some assessments, so in any case, they're saying they're gonna prorate the assessments, that's fine. Or if it says the seller pays all assessments, we're gonna counter and we're gonna prorate. Prorate means I pay up until closing and you pay from then on, right? Just so you know, risk of loss transfers to the buyer at closing. Title, we're gonna do a title search and the buyer is gonna have 7 days to review title. I don't anticipate any issues on our title, so it should be fine. From the, I had the property profile pulled and it showed everything was okay. And then we have their financing clause. There is no contingency on their cash, and they're going to demonstrate their cash funds to you within 3 days of acceptance. Or there's a contingency on their cash funds. They need to sell a home in Wisconsin. And that home in Wisconsin appears to be in escrow already. And just so you know, I actually did call the escrow officer of the sale in Wisconsin. And I found out, yes, it is in escrow, and they have done their inspections. So they've done that. They are just waiting for final loan approval. They're scheduled to close within 2 weeks. So that's really good news. So that, to me, means this is okay, right? A 2-week closing on a house, that's not too risky. How do you feel about that? Well, something could go wrong. That's true. I mean, what if they don't get their lending approved? Yeah, then it would fall out of escrow and then this would not happen. And then we'd be in escrow. Yeah, that's true. So if you feel you want to protect yourself, we could add a release clause. We could say, yes, we'll do this, but if your house falls out of escrow, we have a right to cancel this transaction. Or we give you 2 weeks to go back into escrow. You see, we can figure out how to deal with this.
Just here to see Kevin.
Yeah, go on back.
Thank you, sorry.
You bet, no problem. So now you decide, how do we wanna deal with this particular contingency? If you get an offer like that, and you're the listing agent, you call your broker and say, or your coach, how do I respond to this, right? What's the best thing to do? Well, if it's already in escrow, it's probably okay to accept the offer. And you could write a clause in there that says, if you fall out of escrow, we have a right to cancel, or we give you 15 days to get into escrow again. If you do not get into escrow within 15 days, then we can have a right to cancel. See where I'm going?
You can keep the earnest money.
No, you do not get to keep the earnest money in that, absolutely not. Is that a win-win? No, it wouldn't be a win-win. Why would you penalize somebody for accepting their offer, putting a time limit on it, and they can't meet that, then they have a right to get out. And if you're gonna cancel, you don't get to keep their money, right, like that. So, the thing you now have to do is provide evidence of the cash, and they're gonna do that within 3 days. They're gonna require financing, so that means they have to apply for a loan, and they have to get, on top of page 6, they've already provided us with a pre-approval letter, so they're pre-approved by a local lender here, which is great. If we renegotiate the price, they're gonna give us a new letter within 5 days. They have to provide conditional loan approval within 20 days or 25 days. and that will include the appraisal on the house. So they're gonna hire an appraiser is gonna come and appraise the house and determine whether the bank is willing to lend money on the price that we're in contract for. And then final loan approval would happen 8 days before closing. So is that okay with you? Well, is that how that works? Really, I have to, because in 8 days, right, I'm moved, right? I'm already hired movers, I'm already got everything packed up. What if they don't get final loan approval? Yeah, that's true. That's how our contracts are written. It's a little iffy. How do you feel about that? I don't like that at all. We could ask for final loan approval and then ask for 15 days so that you don't pack until you get final loan approval. How would you feel about that? Oh, I'd feel a lot better. If you could give me 15 days after final loan approval, that would feel a lot better. Great, let's do that. We're gonna counter with change closing date to 15 days after final loan approval, right? Now that could extend your contract a little bit. Is that okay with you? I don't know if the lender can do it sooner, right? So it might make it a 50-day closing or something like that. Is that okay with you? Yeah, that's okay. Okay, fine. Okay, the seller's disclosure, we've already filled that out. We're gonna be able to send that to them. If we discover anything new, we have to disclose it to the buyer, and the buyer has to tell us they've received the information within 3 days, and then they're gonna have 7 days to review the seller's disclosure. These are all general disclosures that the buyers are made aware of, and now I'm on page 8. And here's the inspection period, and they have 14 days to inspect the property. And as you can see, what it says here, they have a right to do anything. They have a right to come into the property, to bring in an inspector, to look at the plumbing, to look at the electrical, to look at the roof, to look at a general inspection, you name it, they have a right to look at it. They have a right to go to the county and look up all your permit information, and a right to ask questions at the county about the property. Oh, is that gonna get us in trouble? Because I've got that Ohana that the extension wasn't permitted. Are they gonna get, no, they're not gonna get you in trouble. They just have a right to ask questions, okay? The county does not take inquiries and turn them into coming after people. They do not do that. The county only takes complaints, neighbor complaints, in order to turn a property in. Okay, that's how we do things here. So they have a right to do that. They have 14 days, and at the end of the 14 days, they opt to go ahead with the transaction, and they're gonna put another $10,000 down, or they will cancel at that point. Oh, okay, so we don't really know what's happening until they're done with that. I said, yeah, that's a fair statement. We really have to, so sellers sit on pins and needles during J1, right? Yeah. Okay, and then we go on to the final walkthrough is gonna happen 5 days before closing. And then we need to have the property cleaned and empty of all items 6 days before closing. So, okay, well, how does this work? You just gave me 15 days before final owner approval, so it's not 15 days. I really only have 9 days to pack up and get out. Yes, that's true. Actually, you only have 7 days, because it's gonna take 2 days for somebody to clean this house with all the windows and everything, right? So it's really only 7 days. How do you feel about that? Gosh, I don't like that. So can we ask for more time? Yeah, we can. So could we ask for 21 days after final loan approval is closing? Yeah, we can. Okay, let's do that. You see, right? Now, could I have known this about her beforehand? I could have, right? I could have gathered in talking to her that, to my seller, say like, do you understand how this works? This is, we're gonna get an offer. It could be a 30-day close. Oh, no, I can't close that fast, right? And you're gonna be asked to pack up and leave, and then you're gonna get final loan approval. Depends how much you go through with your buyer. Many people don't know this about their buyer, about their seller at this point, so you can get these kinds of changes, and you go like, why didn't you know this? I called you and asked you what her timing was. Well, she didn't realize that she had to get out before loan approval. And and she doesn't feel comfortable getting out before loan approval.
So then would it be a good idea to preliminarily go through this contract, just like you're doing with us, with them?
What do you
before
think?
even get an offer, so
What do you
that they're
think?
prepared?
No.
What do you think?
I think it would be, so you can get that information ahead of time.
Yeah, I call it a mock offer, and I
Yeah.
offer it to all my sellers and my buyers. So I tell a seller, I'm gonna make another appointment with you after we sign a listing agreement, and I'm gonna bring you a mock offer.
Right.
And I'm gonna take you through that, just so you understand what this contract is about, so that you don't have to be presented with it for the first time when you actually get an offer.
Right.
Right, makes sense, yep, absolutely. So she has to get out 6 days before cleaning, 6 days before, we have to have it professionally cleaned. Oh, professionally cleaned, but I'm such a good housekeeper, I take such good care of it, does it really have to be professionally cleaned? Yes, and I don't want you to take that on. You have no idea how much work a move-out cleaning is. It's far more work than a normal cleaning. You're gonna be exhausted from packing, you're gonna be leaving the island, you do not wanna take on cleaning your house, okay? So I really encourage you to pay that out of the proceeds you're gonna get. Well, how much is that gonna cost? Well, a house this big, windows, screens, carpet, everything, this could cost $1,200. $1,200, right? You get, this is part of what you have to do, so you calm them down, say, yep, and I'm gonna tell you again, you do not wanna take this on. Well, can we get it for less? I said, I'll do my best to get it done for less for you.
Those are real numbers.
On a 3,000 square foot house? Yeah. You hired PwC? Easy. PwC charged
People
me-
who care, yeah. I know.
They're good.
Oh, I know them.
They're really good. And in a pinch, oh my God, they're more available than other people, right? So it's
Wow, that's-
people who clean, by the way, not people who care.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. They're awesome, but they are expensive. So $1,200, yeah, for a 3,000 square foot house,
Wow.
it's feasible.
With their own business.
Well, no, it's a lot of
Wait till
work.
you get the EWC.
Okay, we don't have any rental matters, we don't have anything else. Let's see, they did have a contingency in, right, that they want the back gate repaired, or they want the garage door repaired, right? Or they have these 3 items that they want repaired. Oh, really? I don't know how to deal with, I don't have anybody to do this. That's all right. I can certainly get it done for you and hire the handyman for you. The question is, do you want to do those things? Well, I suppose I should, right? Now, let me tell you one more thing. You are probably gonna get requests from some other repairs at the end of their inspection, because their inspector might find things that bother them about the property. So this is not necessarily the only request for repairs you're gonna get. Oh, well, why don't they just ask me all at once? Well, because they've already noticed these and they're letting you know up front that they would appreciate these repairs done. Well, how much is that gonna cost me? Well, I don't know, but none of these look terribly, this is some electrical work, and an electrician costs $75 an hour and is gonna take them at least 3 hours. We're talking $250 or $300 for an electrician, and so you're talking maybe $1,000 here. Oh, well, that's not so bad, is it? No, all right, we'll take care of that. Okay, great, fine, we can do that. Then, let me write up the counteroffer, and that's basically the offer. Okay, do that with each other.
Go through this whole.
Go, just start anywhere. One person does the first 4 pages and the other person does the next 4 pages.
Are you buzzing
Yeah,
out already?
You gotta go. We're running over? Yes, we've got 5 minutes left.
Do it in 5 minutes.
Well, do whatever you can.
I'll let you start.
Oh, okay.
Wait a
No, you go first.
minute.
Wanna come over here, Teresa?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't need to,
Or actually, Elton and Teresa, and then you and I can work.
okay, there you go.
What are we doing now?
Okay, where did we start? Yep, go first.
One of them.
Nice to see you.
Here?
Awesome.
Good. You representing, okay.
I'll see you next
So
time.
I'm not
ready
me.
yet.
Thank you
Okay,
for-
okay.
Are we writing the
Yeah.
offer or presenting the offer, Marion?
You are
Well, I
representing the
am-
seller, you're presenting an offer to the seller.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
So you have to
I'm
make
gonna-
up the.
Alright, so you're the
Okay.
seller or
Okay.
you're the realtor?
I'll be the seller if you'd like to practice. Do you want,
Okay.
do you want me to be the realtor?
Cool,
Sure, why don't you be the realtor?
Okay.
so for the, okay, how much?
Teresa, so great news
$5 million.
today. We
$5
have an
million.
offer.
Love that, okay,
Payment
5 million,
today.
earnest money
Yes,
deposit.
I thought so as well.
Uh-huh.
$2 million.
And,
Okay, $2 million is the earnest money, cool, we'll write that in.
so as you know, we listed our
Additional
house
deposit
for
by intro
$600,000.
escrow.
Right, and we got an offer that was for
An additional two-
$580,000
Now that'd be too much.
with an initial
That'd be
earnest
like
money
almost the whole
deposit
price.
of $20,000.
Additional,
And
let's say,
they are then going to
$5,000.
pay an additional
And then it's
earnest
half.
money deposit
Okay.
after
500.
inspection of
Balance
another
of down payment or
$20,000.
balance
So
paid
in
into
essence,
escrow prior to
$40,000. And then the balance of their down payment, which is $60,000, will be paid
Let's
into escrow
do-
prior to closing, right? So they'll be putting a total of $100,000
So is the balance
down.
the
So the
combination of
bottom
these two?
line is we're
And then whatever's remaining?
580,000 on our
I have no
600,000.
idea.
Or balance of purchase?
That is correct, yes.
What do you think of that?
Okay, we'll just say total cash funds from buyer. So total you're doing what?
Well, I
2
would
million?
ask,
2,500,000,
you know, on the basis
By
of the
way
fact
of-
as to,
and then you're
you know,
gonna
we
do the
just
rest
got
in-
our,
Finance.
just got our house on the
Okay,
market,
cool.
right? It seems like a good starting
Right.
offer, but I'd really love to hear what you think
So
about
They're
it.
buying a $5 million
$5 million
property,
from
putting half down.
purchase, correct.
How long have we been on
Cool.
the market now?
Addenda.
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, let's counter offer it. Let's counter it. Let's bring him up, let's meet him halfway.
Which components of the offer would you like to alter?
The selling price.
Let's say it's an oceanfront property.
Yes, oceanfront
Right.
short-term rental condo,
We'll meet him halfway.
which is why they're putting so
Okay,
much down
so,
because they want it.
They want it
happy to
ASAP.
do so.
Well, they want to
We
generate-
can
they want it
certainly
to
write
generate
an offer 4 to
profit.
590.
So the more money you put
The question I would
down,
ask is when we first met, you had mentioned to me
Right,
Strong
that you were really
because your
looking to
financing is lower.
right.
Right.
get out of here as soon
That
as
makes sense.
possible, right?
Okay, cool.
In essence,
And
we're
then
talking
the-
about
the
$10,000
property tax
between
Matt key.
the 590 and the
Yep, it's like
580.
montage.
And
Perfect.
this
Beautiful.
counter will
Inclusions.
actually put us in
Oh,
a
it's all
compromised
over
situation, meaning we're not in
inclusions.
contract. Is that
Let's say
$10,000
central
worth it to
AC,
you to
If
potentially
it's got everything, it's like a
um,
montage.
lose that buyer
Okay,
over
everything.
this?
I don't know,
Inclusion
tell me
of-
more about the offer, let's see how strong the offer is.
Except for area.
Sure, so, as mentioned, this, there would be $40,000 worth of
All
furniture
earnest money.
Alright.
All
They're,
furniture comes furnished,
putting
okay,
down
exclusions,
$100,000
except for
cash.
that one, 5 days of
It's
China.
within
Yeah, and
5
that amazing
days,
famous picture.
which
Okay,
I
that was
believe
blurred
meets
out.
your
The painting,
timeline.
yeah.
You know what, I think you're right,
And
let's
for
just take it.
closing, for purpose of
Let's
purchase
take it.
contract closing, let's just.
Sold.
Closing
Yeah.
scheduled to
Okay.
be, let's say, January.
So now there are a
They
few,
want it done
so
in 30
we
days.
have a,
Final, done,
we're comfortable
move
with
in,
at least
take
the
ownership,
financing
30 days.
standpoint, let's
Okay.
just go through
So
some
we'll
of
just
the
say
addenda
in
here as
exactly
well.
30 days, January 1.
We just
Yes.
have this as is
Cool.
condition, which.
Change the scheduled closing date.
Just want to, could you just confirm that
Okay, let's say
everything
we
is here okay
give
with the inclusions?
Each party
Is there
10
anything
days
here
to
that you're not
extend,
expecting to
if
be?
it comes down to it. Does that feel
Okay.
helpful?
What
would you like?
No extensions.
Okay, no sense. So then it would be time is of the essence.
On the counter.
Let's
They can have
say
the
we
bill.
take ownership January 1st, actually.
Okay,
Is
and
really
that
tough
matches
one?
what we put in the listing?
Okay, January 1st,
Yeah.
New Year's
Okay,
Day.
that's not a problem then.
Yeah, that's good.
What about
Why
January
am I doing $5
2nd?
million
And
down?
also ask for, they like the
Escrow, the
bedroom
transaction
set.
shall be escrowed by escrow company,
What do you
escrow
feel
company A.
about?
Title guarantee.
Okay, title.
I can't think about, what do you want
So
that
it's
thrown in?
prorations and
I
closing.
paid
Yes.
$5,000 for that, are you kidding me?
Are you
Whatever that
interested in
Sure.
putting it as a separate
Uh,
contract? Or would you
yeah.
just like to
Yeah.
say?
So that will be negotiated separately.
Sure, I agree with
That's a separate
that.
deal.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
mess with that.
Assessment.
I agree, sounds wonderful.
There are no assessments because it's the montage and the
Okay.
budget isn't going to
Still in the
cover
montage, love
the big giant.
Okay,
amount that
so-
sits there.
Perfect,
Sounds
want my daddy too.
yes, you know, people are
God, are
crazy.
you kidding me?
I actually put an offer in on a house, so I tried to buy the house as is from purchase real.
Oh, nice.
Within, let's say,
Now that I've taken this course, I realized
within
what a total bad move it was.
3 days?
You don't realize, like,
What's
you'd be
standard?
financing
Oh, no,
furniture,
G3.
can you imagine?
Yeah.
30 years
What do you-
financing on furniture,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
silly.
Okay.
Buyer review.
okay,
point,
so-
if buyer
so,
is not satisfied with the preliminary title report,
Mhm.
buyer may elect to end
something. So we're good with the closing date with the 45?
Straddle the fence.
Did you want to,
So there's not reasonable to cure any
did you want to allow any extensions on the closing dates? Things happen?
when
had
did
a
they
point
get their
on
financing?
How
How about we get 2 weeks post financing, just so I have a little sense of security?
I think that's reasonable, then we could basically ask for 50 days maybe.
Yeah.
That'll give you time to get everything ready to
No,
rock and
no,
roll.
don't
Yeah, 'cause
ask for
Mark-
50
Mark
days,
has
ask
this,
for
and it's the road too.
14
He never
days
gets sick.
post
He never gets sick,
confirmation
son.
of financing.
No, when I say 50 days,
It's
it's
weird, it just
likely
happened
just
2 days
meaning
ago.
that the closing period will take about
Okay,
50 days if
that's
you do the
good.
14 days off the
Yeah, yeah,
loan.
if they make it approvable way quicker.
Sure, okay,
It's
that's
tomorrow.
But that gives me
12,
a sense of
12.
security.
excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
guess what, tomorrow's my year.
And,
Tomorrow's my day.
so,
my
you know, as
the
you're
year
aware, there will
out.
be some closing costs,
Crazy, huh?
that
I know.
are attributed to the seller.
Alright.
So, you know, some of the things that you'll be dealing with,
I've seen different, like, interpretations, but
They
I
told
think
me
this
all
one,
closing
like, I
costs.
have this one website.
that would be lovely, however traditionally that is not done over here.
And I haven't looked that one up yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
While they are certainly negotiable,
Joanne's Sacred Numbers.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It's my
I
understanding.
like her.
I think
I
they are
resonate a lot with
negotiable.
her interpretation, so.
I think
Are closing costs
I'm excited.
negotiable?
Okay, alright, good to know
They are?
it's not just
Okay,
going
no.
around.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
it's,
then
it was weird,
give
it just
them
happened out of
closing
nowhere too.
costs. Yeah.
So this was the objection to sellers. I'm taking $20,000 less from my house.
Dehydrated.
I want them to pay
Like, no matter how
closing
much
costs.
water I drink, I'm still.
How do you handle that?
And it's
You were
making
taking
it-
$15,000 less.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. It's always hard to.
The buyer can't credit you,
It's good when you meet other people.
you're gonna get the buyer's money,
Crazy. Yeah,
you're gonna have a lot of money, you can cover your closing costs out of that money,
yeah.
you're not gonna,
Oh,
there's no other fund coming to you. So, in order to compensate for closing costs, you can just reduce it by $15,000, and now you've got $5,000.
14 days
It's gonna go to your closing costs, net to you is
Seven.
$20,000.
7 days, okay. They're trying to make it fast, huh?
Yeah, do you get that? It kind of went over my
If the
head.
seller's not
So,
selling.
They're offering you $100,000, you wanna ask for $120,000, but you want your closing costs to be covered.
No, she's saying she's the seller,
Mhm.
and she objects to the fact that the seller's having to pay any closing costs.
Right,
She
that's what
says,
I'm
"I
saying, she
took
wants her
20,000
closing costs to be covered.
Oh, okay.
right?
So ask for more money in
Right.
in their offer.
Yeah, just don't
Yeah.
count her as low.
And
Yes.
then, okay, and then say, I will pay all closing costs.
No, you are expected to pay your closing costs.
I am, that's
Yes,
traditional.
that's what that's about, right
That's
there,
the
you've
safety
got
way.
to, that's what those closing costs are. Everybody has closing costs. So you are simply saying to yourself, I'm not coming down in price $20,000, cause I'm still gonna have $5,000 in closing costs, so I'll come down in 15, and that gives me that $5,000. So I'm gonna pay,
That's the difference, got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
Is it the one thing?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so there we go.
Did you do yours? Yeah.
Call Marion.
Right. So then, once again, it's going to be
How many pages?
Okay.
appreciate that you're trying to get the maximum amount.
However,
However, do you want to lose your,
You know what,
So-
yeah, I'm willing to lose it, cause
You're a
I'm
very
not,
tough
I'm not
negotiator.
gonna feel good about this.
That's right,
Oh,
correct.
really?
One out of
Otherwise,
600,000.
I gotta
Because I
feel
did
good
on my
about it.
iPad.
correct.
He's gonna be surprised.
Okay.
Full.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you did our
I did
costs.
mine the night before.
Assessment consent, blah, 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 blah. Cash funds, right?
Okay.
So what we're likely going to do at this point is, I will then go and facilitate this, we're gonna get a preliminary title report from our escrow
And
company.
that's why I did
Right.
it.
Counter offer.
Right,
I read the book
or we
and
did
then
our
wrote
counter,
the night before.
Yeah.
or we're
So I
going
think
to
that
do our
he
counter,
asked
right?
Yes.
Maybe like a
Um,
Tuesday and you wanted it by next week.
Make sure there are no defects on the
Give
title,
yourself a deadline.
and we are going to, make
Yeah,
sure
do
from
it
the
then.
financing and cash
We're
funds,
hoping to get it
right, so we have to verify that they have the funds available, right,
Yeah,
it's
it's not
actually
to
been
be
done already for us.
Hey, Marion, what does that mean, verifying the funds?
I missed a lot.
Verify cash funds.
Marion?
yes, what do you wanna know?
What does that mean?
Read the paragraph, when in doubt, always read the paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if I
It's
say
one
for
of those
$5,000
you
in this money,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
it
really
needs to be
good
like
book,
in
I told my
my bank.
brother to read it.
It means what?
Even though I have
Needs to
nothing
be like
but
in my
real estate,
bank.
my
It's
brother-
not like I'm not
it's
getting
like
a
a
loan.
life
How do I
book.
know it's in
Yeah,
bank? You're gonna
for sure.
send me a statement?
I should get my own
Alright,
version.
got it.
The one I did, the guy pulled up his online banking and showed me a screenshot.
Oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Which I think is kind of hysterical. I mean, you can transfer the money out in 5 minutes, but at the time it was verified.
Right. Yeah,
Alright.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Because
so,
they're pretty busy.
there's no contingencies on getting funding, so we're cruising right along here.
Okay.
Okay, and then as we, he'll get us his pre-qual letter. Let's see, mandatory seller disclosures.
Yeah, just still.
So once
Don't
all of
forget
that gets through, it's,
Alright,
Because I'm-
we need to
I'm
provide
ready
our
to.
seller disclosures, which is already done because we put it in our listing, right?
Right? Okay.
Look, keep me on your toes.
Then we've got.
Okay, so, cash funds.
Then we get to section J, which is the inspections, right? Should be on it. J1, right. Okay, so our buyer has put in a
Buyer's obligation.
14-day inspection period,
Okay, that's fine.
right?
Great.
Okay, and then of course, once we get through that, then, you know, we also want to make sure what the property, final property condition will be for our final walkthrough. Before we hand over the property and make sure that there is no,
I feel like we need to go through.
you know, withheld or collected funds for.
Yeah, we're like
Yeah, so
Yeah.
give me a little time.
I've been looking at it too.
I'm way over.
Alright.
Okay.
Is it over?
Alright.
Yeah, it's 12:38.
Oh, it's
Alright.
for you, okay.
Thanks, Elton.
Yeah.
Good to see
You're
you.
welcome. Likewise, congrats. I now get to go brave Kahana traffic.
Queens.
Cool, you guys. So keep in mind, do check out your mission for the next session. Keep up your good work. We didn't write down how many contacts you all made today, so my bad.
Marion, if you don't mind, I'm rain checking the discussion on CPRs, but I'm going to find you for that if you don't mind.
Yeah.